Okay, welcome back. We will continue with the last block of the day. Day one of the CIHT Ciht conference. The part two will be about competitiveness of the tourist destination through the diversity of tourist offer. What factors have an impact on competitiveness of the tourist destination? What are the determinants that can make a tourist destination more competitive? How can the diversity of tourist offer affect the tourist destination? We will learn right now. I must admit we have some great speakers here and looking forward to hear them. So let's start with the first speaker and my dear friend, Mr. Jan de Jong, co-founder of a lot of things. Okay. Let me prepare for this. Yes. But Webpower Adria, please Jan, join me. CROP and DNA Croatia. Jan will talk about Croatia as the land of opportunity. Jan, the floor is yours. Enjoy.
Thank you so much. Dobar dan svima. Good afternoon. The title of my talk is Croatia, the land of opportunity. Yet at the same time, I'm very much aware that over the past 10 to 15 years, nearly 500,000, mostly very young and talented people have left this country in order to pursue their happiness and their opportunities abroad, mostly in very rainy countries. But when I was a boy, I always wanted to move to the United States to start living the American dream. But at the age of 22, I moved to Croatia, where I ended up living the Croatian dream, as I call it. And when people would ask me, how do you actually manage to successfully start businesses in Croatia? I would answer them the following. Number one, be different. You, me, all of us, we are all unique. Yet somehow we are all trying so hard to fit in and to act and behave like everybody else. But there is great power in being different. If you act and behave like everybody else, you will end up getting what everybody else gets. So be different. Number two, be fearless. We always try to control our lives as much as possible, but there is only so much that we can control. The only thing that we can truly control is the way that we respond to the things that are happening around us. And if you have confidence in your ability to respond and to adapt to the things that are happening around us, then there's no need to be scared. So be fearless. Number three, get uncomfortable. If you want something you never had, you have to do something you have never done. In other words, there's only growth and progress outside of your comfort zone. So get uncomfortable. Now, I could be standing here and give you textbook examples on what that means or how to do that. But what I would rather do is take you with me on my journey on how I moved from the Netherlands to Croatia, started businesses here, started living the Croatian dream by being different, fearless, and by getting uncomfortable. But it started a long time ago. When I was 17 years old, I received a phone call from a very dear friend of mine, Mark. And Mark had recently started working in a contact center called M+ Group in the Netherlands, where he had to sell products and services over the phone. And Mark had asked me whether I would be interested in joining him, which I was. So I decided to apply for the job and I got hired. Now you need to know that in this contact center, they created a highly competitive atmosphere. It was so competitive that every Thursday, the call center manager would walk in and would fire the worst performing call agents and replace them with new ones. And after I had survived several rounds of elimination, I realized that it was very difficult for me to get to know new people, let alone to make new friendships. Because very often, by the time that I could do so, those people would already be fired, including my dear friend Mark. And that resulted in all the call agents solely focusing themselves on hitting their own sales targets. Everybody, except for me. What I decided to do instead is I wrote down my call script and I gave that to the other call agents, and I was teaching them what they had to do in order to hit their sales targets, so they could also avoid getting fired during the next round of elimination. And my efforts were recognized by the management and awarded with several promotions. And by the time that I was 21 years old, I was operationally in charge of running a contact center that employed at that time more than 200 people. Around the same time, I was studying marketing at the University of Leiden. And we were about to approach the final year where I had to write my diplomskierat, my final thesis. Now, I could have decided, just like all my other fellow students, to do that with a Dutch company, to stay in the Netherlands, continue my career over there, which would have probably given me a life that would have been very comfortable, steady, predictable. But again, I chose to go a different route. I went to the owner of M+ Group in the Netherlands, Mato, and I asked Mato whether he liked the idea if I would go to Croatia, write my final thesis from here, where the subject of my final thesis would be to expand M+ Group from the Netherlands to Croatia. And since Mato has Croatian roots, he very much liked the idea. So on the 3rd of September 2006, I collected all my belongings, I put it in my old car, and I drove down to Split. Well, Mato already had an office in Split, so there were a couple of very kind colleagues that were able to help me with a mobile phone, a desk, and they helped me to find an apartment. And after I had been in Croatia for a couple of months, I signed my first client. And a couple of months after that, I signed myself another client. And by the time that I was nearly in Croatia for nearly 1 year, the company I had co-founded employed 35 people. I then went back to the Netherlands to graduate. And on graduation day, I had a lunch with Mato. And Mato told me that he would offer me 50% of the company on the condition that I would go back to Croatia to finish what I started and to build a magnificent business over there. Now, I could speak for hours about all the ups and downs that I had to go through. How I had to fight for survival month after month for years. How I had to pour in all my savings into the business in order to pay for salaries. How I doubled up my capacity. And a few months later, I lost my largest client. As you can hear, times were tough. But I knew that we were moving into the right direction. Year on year, I was doubling my revenues, and fast forward 9 years later, the company I had co-founded employed more than 400 people. And then I got an offer to sell my business. I knew that by accepting an offer like this, that this would lead me straight back into discomfort. I would have to start all over again from scratch. I would have to reinvent myself. And at that moment, I didn't even know what I was going to do next. But I decided to accept the offer. And the reason why I was at ease with that decision was because over the years, I had learned some valuable lessons. Each time that I would put myself in uncomfortable situations, I would get to meet new people and learn new things. I would get to discover new places, and I would get to create something of value. And I realized that that's what makes me happy and gives me purpose. Right after I sold my business, I started having a lot of mixed feelings. On one hand, I was happy and proud that I managed to build a company to that level and to make an exit from it. But on the other hand, I was feeling very scared. And I remember a conversation that I had with my wife when I asked her, have I, at the age of 31, already reached the peak of my entrepreneurial career? Is this the biggest thing that I will ever do in business? Is there going to be something bigger out there that can perhaps even put what I did in the past in the shadows of the next big thing? And my wife responded to me in a way where she said, first of all, you need to ask yourself what it means to do something big. Does that mean big revenues? Does that mean big number of employees? Or should you maybe be thinking along the lines of doing something where you can leave a big social impact? And those words stayed in the back of my mind. And after giving it some time, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to put myself through hardship again. And through my entrepreneurial efforts, I wanted to do things where I could leave a big social impact on the country where my 4 children were born and where I had planned my future. So what to do next? The first thing I did next is I started a company called Webpower Adria. And just like in 2006, when we started the contact center, with Webpower Adria in 2016, we again enjoyed first mover advantage, meaning that we were the first company locally present in the region, specialized in email marketing and marketing automation. And over the first few years, this company was developing steadily, let's say in line with expectations. And then all of a sudden, just like with everybody else, we got hit by this global pandemic, stuck in lockdown. And at that moment, my pipeline looked phenomenal. I had huge companies ready to sign up for my services. But then the first phone call came. Jan, we are terribly sorry. We don't know how this is going to develop with the global pandemic. For time being, we can't start cooperation yet. And then the second phone call came. Jan, we had to close all our shops. Right now, we have no need for any marketing services. We can't enter into an agreement yet. And I remember thinking by myself, how am I going to respond to this? And I started thinking real hard about my business and about this country, a country that for more than 20% of its GDP depends on tourism. Now, what would you do if all of a sudden those revenue streams dry up? And for myself, I made a parallel with what that would mean to, for example, a family. Let's say that you get fired. All of a sudden, there's less money coming in. What is the next thing that you do? In my opinion, if there's less money coming in, the first thing you need to do is to make sure that there's less money going out. And the same thought I had about this country. If there's less money coming in, we need to make sure that there's less money going out. Especially not to be buying products and services abroad that we could be buying here, locally. And that was my inspiration to start a Webpower Buy Local campaign, where one day on LinkedIn, I wrote a post that said, I, Jan de Jong, hereby solemnly swear that for every 25 companies that would switch from services like MailChimp to Webpower, that I'm going to hire one full-time employee in Croatia. And this post got so much traction and got covered by all the media, resulting that in the middle of a global pandemic, we were able to onboard 50 new clients, opening up 2 new positions. And right now, I cannot imagine our company to be without our dear Lucia and dear Anna. Around the same time, I was asked by a very kind lady in the audience, I don't know where you are, to participate in a virtual conference called Tourism 5.0. And at that conference, I was going to get the question out of all questions. What can we do in Croatia to turn this country into a year-round destination? Now, I had to be very honest with myself and admit that I have 0 experience working in tourism. So what I did next is I called up a very good friend of mine, Mr. Paul Bradbury, who writes a lot about tourism. And I asked him, Paul, could you send me some articles that I can read up so that perhaps tomorrow at the conference, I might even sound smart? And Paul sent me over those articles, which I started reading until late in the evening. And all of a sudden, my eyes fell on 3 words: digital, nomad, tourism. And I thought by myself, yes, this is it. If we are opening up our borders to receive 20 million tourists every year in Croatia, then why would we not open up our borders to receive digital nomads, remote workers from all around the world who would want to come to Croatia, not just for a few weeks, but for several months, even all the way up to 1 year? And I mentioned that during the conference. The same evening, that part got covered by the evening news. And after that, on my LinkedIn profile, I started promoting Croatia to be a perfect destination for remote workers from all around the world to come here, live here, and work from here, but for foreign companies and foreign clients. With all the support from the LinkedIn community, this got also covered by all the media. And one Saturday morning, I woke up Miraculously, the kids were still in bed. And I thought by myself, you know what? I'm just going to ask him. I'm going to ask the Prime Minister in an open letter on LinkedIn if he would be so kind to consider introducing a digital nomad visa in Croatia. And again, with all the support from the LinkedIn community and the media, I could indeed confirm that my message was heard, because a couple of weeks after that, I received an invitation from the Ministry of Interior, who welcomed me to their office, giving me a chance to pitch the idea of introducing such visa. And then something amazing happened. First of all, they right away understood how big of an opportunity this is for Croatia. And secondly, they told me in that meeting that they were just about to make some changes to the Alien Act, to the Foreigners Act, and that this would probably be the perfect moment to tag along with additional legislation, and that we could probably do this rather fast. 44 days after my open letter on LinkedIn, I also had a chance to meet with the Prime Minister himself, who told me during that meeting that he believes that this is where the world is going to, that more and more people will start working fully remote, and that more and more companies are going to be open to the idea of having their staff work fully remote, and that we as a nation should be among the first countries in the world to open up our borders and to welcome those remote workers. In the months that followed, I've been working very hard with several ministries to get all the additional legislation in place, and I'm super happy and super proud to share with you all that as of January 1st this year, Croatia became the 7th country in the world and the 2nd country in Europe to welcome digital nomads by granting them a staying permit up till 12 months, during which they shall not be paying any income tax in order to avoid double taxation. Right now, Croatia is already hosting thousands upon thousands of digital nomads, and I'm convinced that many shall. Survey done by nomadlist.com has placed Croatia on the 2nd position after Japan as most loved country among digital nomads in a survey done among 150,000 people. Now, before I leave this stage, there's just one other subject that I just want to touch on. And that is that I personally believe that Croatia has all the ingredients to offer its citizens among the highest standards of living in Europe. And I turned it into my own personal mission that through my entrepreneurial efforts, I can help prepare Croatia for the next generation, so that my children and your children don't have to move abroad to rainy countries to find their happiness and opportunities, but they can find it right here in Croatia. And I know that we can do this if we are prepared to be different, fearless, and to get uncomfortable. Thank you so much.
Jan, thank you, and this was great. Just I talked to Jan. So the company that he started, M+ Group, now has more than 9,000 people. So he's moving mountains on everything he touches. So thank you, Jan. Okay, now. Okay, see, we'll have now Velimir Šonje join us on the stage, and he will introduce the subject. Thank you, Velimir. Please, applause, please.
Thank you, and thanks everybody and organizers for the invitation to participate today here. Maybe it would be good if I have the presentation. Maybe some of you know me as an economist who is commenting on economic issues in Croatian press, but this time I'm here in another capacity. I'm here to talk about a new airline. This is who we are, and I will talk about the role of airline in the development of tourism. And here I like the good habit of your profession to disclose the conflict of interest, and usually you say no conflict of interest. Here I'm saying I have a huge conflict of interest because this is the airline which was started in 2020 in the midst of pandemic, fearless, uncomfortable. Remember the Jan de Jong's speech? So in the midst of the pandemic, when all of the airline was completely down, we started a new airline company in Croatia, not small aircrafts, things like that, the big ones, the real ones. Boeing 737-800, 189 places, all economy in each of the aircraft. So we're talking about serious business. I'm co-investor and I was the arranger of the whole deal, and I'm the co-investor and deputy president of the supervisory board of ETF Airways, which, as you see, already traveled more than 100,000 passengers from Paris in the west to Islamabad in the east, from Larnaca in the south to Helsinki in the north. So we are really a European company because the EU is a common playground, and when you register and do all of the regulatory issues in Croatia, you get a license to operate across the European Union. We have plans to have 3 to 4 aircrafts next year, 6 aircrafts 25, 26. And also having in mind that many our American Croats participated this morning, yes, the long haul operations are in plan 24 approximately, hopefully. It's a big investment and big risk, but we have capacities to do that. So what does it have to do with tourism and the health tourism? To tell you frankly, Croatia is not an important part of our business operation. And when we started the operation, we never thought about Croatia as a home market. Our home market is Europe. And the most of operations that we do is in the Southeast Europe, southeast from here. But if we think strategically, there are a lot of opportunities that all of us should just keep in mind. And let me try to plant some ideas about how to use airline operations for transforming tourist industry, and in particular, health tourism industry in Croatia and in this region of Northern Adriatic. Well, I don't want to talk a lot about ETF Airways. Smaller carriers are flexible, much more flexible than line carriers. We do charter operations. So we can fly from point A to point B anywhere. We don't put a line and then we say, yes, we are selling tickets and we are flying on Mondays from Zagreb to Dublin and Dublin, Zagreb. No, that's not the way how we do it. We are charter operator and we are ACMI operator, renting our services to other bigger companies. But charter is what is interesting, because any big tour operator, any agency, any player in the market can hire us. Let's say that you have an arrangement with an insurance company in Oslo or in Berlin who brings here a few hundreds or a few thousand people per year to Croatia, to Krk, okay, for some reason, for health tourism reasons. We can bring them here. We make an arrangement and we fly Saturdays, Sundays, 2 times a month, 3 times a month during 30 or 40 weeks per year. So we can extend the season. We can start in February, we can start in March, April, whatever, fly until November, December. And we can open the markets in this way. So this business will develop. There will be players in the market, agencies, tour operators, etc., who will be hiring airplanes to carry charter flights, let's say from Berlin to Krk, when there is a season. That will happen, with or without ETF Airways. We are not important here. But the important thing is idea, this simple scheme on the right side. Think of Krk as a base for one aircraft. Okay, there is no aircraft on Krk that has a base there, right? So what can motivate an airline to have a Krk as a base for one aircraft? Mathematics is very simple. If you can bring 50,000 people per annum to one point, approximately 50,000, let's not talk about precise numbers, but if you can bring 50,000 people per annum to one place, there will be a company in the world, in Europe in this case, which will be interested to have the base on Kirk. And then everything becomes much more easier. This aircraft can fly cheaper than other aircrafts that are not based there, okay? Next, there is additional employment for people there around these aircraft, okay? So if you think about coordination of all of this and abilities to use aircraft, airlines to extend your season, then you would change these figures. This is 2017 figures, but basically it's the same. So 3/4 of people come to Croatia by cars and vans. What does it mean? These are on average younger people. These are on average people who come from Central Europe, which is our home market for our tourism. And most of you in the health tourism business who have foreigners as clients, you probably think of Italians, Austrians, Germans. Probably that's it. The others, how much? What percentage? Maybe some of you can tell me. 5%, 10% of your total business that you sell to foreigners. I don't believe it's much more. The rest is CEE, Central and Eastern Europe, right? Italy included. You can change that. Not 2022, maybe a little bit 23. You can change it 24. You can change it a lot 25. You can change it very much 26, 27. If you have a vision, if you want to do it, and if you want to open the opportunities to access markets for health services where there are a lot of aging Germans in the north, Berlin, think about the Berlin as a market. Think about Stockholm as a market. It won't happen soon. But if you project it 5 years from now, you can really position Primorsko-Goranska County or Kvarner as you want, as a place where aging Europeans can find their health and wellness services at a much lower cost. People this morning were talking about price competitiveness, and indeed, you know it better than I do. It's 50%, 25% of average European price, 70%, whatever. Huge price differential for those kinds of services. But why airplanes? Why not cars? Well, I think it's pretty obvious. First of all, people on average who come by airplanes are people who like comfort. They're on average older people. If you're not talking about low cost and youngsters who come for festivals, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about families. I'm talking about people 50 and 55 plus who come by airplanes. And what we already know that people coming by airplanes are spending double on average compared to people coming by cars. Double, almost double. And if you include healthcare services in these, I'm sure it's 2 to 3 times more per day spending compared to typical Croatian tourist who is coming by cars and who will continue to play the most important role in Croatian tourism, undoubtedly. And the pandemic has shown the resilience of this market. These people came this year. Fine, good, but we are talking about the vision. We are talking about the long run. So you want to move here. And especially after pandemic, you know, charter flights will attract people. You know what one CEO of a large tourist company told me? We are already missing part of this market, not in Stockholm or Berlin. We are missing it from Vienna because people 55 plus who want health and wellness services, they don't want to drive 6 or 7 hours and wait 2 hours at the border. They want to sit on an airplane in Vienna, Berlin, wherever, and in 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, 2 hours, be there to breathe air, to hug trees, do whatever, you know. You talked about it this morning. So this is really the story. important emphasis, story. You have to make a story out of it because it's all about the sales. Someone has told the right words this morning. Create packages, reach the markets, reach the clients, be visible, marketing and sales. I'm sure Jong could talk the whole day about it, yeah? So it's about sales. I know, sometimes it's hard from daily operations of a medical business to switch into the sales, and all of you do sales, you do sell. You do it yourself, you know, some of you have experts for that, if you can invest in this, but there is no system. There is hardly a system of sales because you don't have size. Your companies individually don't have enough size to have sales as a system. And as a county, as a region, you still didn't coordinate to make a sale because you have to sell the story about the region, about the sources of health in the heart of Europe that are reachable by airplane within 1.5 hours, and where you get good services at low prices in a beautiful scenery. That's the huge potential. And I think I don't have to explain this further. And the role of the airline here is certainly not the one that can solve all of your problems. We are just an element in the puzzle, but someone has to think about the whole puzzle, about the whole scheme. So let me come back to the story about 50,000 passengers in one location, just to illustrate you with the numbers. If you could have an aircraft here on Kirk that could bring this much, it basically means 350,000 night stays in Primorsko-Goranska County, which is 2.3% more from 2019 number of night stays here. Okay, if all of these people stay 7 days on average, very simple calculation. Well, if each spends €100 daily, those who come for health and lifestyle services, they would spend more. But let's say they spend €100 daily. It's 35 million euro. But the aircraft that would bring 50,000 could easily bring 2 or 3 times more. You don't know about the capacities of aircraft, but I guarantee you, if it's full load, if it's most of the time, one aircraft with a base on Kirk can easily bring 100,000 people. I just don't want to push appetites too high. I'm talking about potential of 50,000, say 24 or 25. Why not? Okay. So it's a huge market. We could create up to 100 million euros of total revenue for the industry as a whole, because health industry is not that big to support those figures. But together with the whole tourism industry, with health being part of it, basically you can think about up to 100 million euros per one aircraft operating charters all the time from all over Europe to here. That's the whole story. So how could it happen? How can this happen? These figures are clear, they're nice, you would all like to have them, but the issue is always how? Small airline company cannot do it. Well, these are stakeholders. There has to be a leader. There has to be someone with a vision who is among you here or maybe outside here, but is living here on Kvarner, okay? Who could put all of the pieces of puzzle together. So we are just one element in the puzzle. You're on top, supply of services. It's you. You're on top. You're providers of services. You offer good services. You can make them better. You can increase your capacities to accommodate 50,000 people per year in the future. But someone has to do packages, sales, and marketing. Someone has to sell the Kvarner health story. Yeah, so there has to be stakeholder for this. We are a small element here. You have a local airport, that's great. And public support. So someone has to put all of these pieces together start to work now in order to make big changes to happen 3 to 4 years from now. Important thing is the vision, going out of the zone of comfort of these car people from Italy, Germany, and Austria, who will remain main part of your business. But remember, there is Berlin, there is Stockholm, there is London, there is a huge aging Europe, which will demand tons of those kind of services. So I was happy to present this. Thank you. Remember, small part of the puzzle we are, but I hope this presentation will lead you to rethink a little bit about how we can do it to change things in the not long run, medium term. Thank you.
Thank you, Velimir. On time and very great presentation. Okay, this could be a great perspective for Croatian tourism, of course, and I have a lot of questions for Jan and Velimir already, so I hope you're prepared. But now we will dive into sport tourism. So our next speaker will open the segment of touristic offer. Mr. Emir Haskić, please join me on the stage. Managing Director at the B4Sport Camps will present all the advantages of sport destination. Mr. Haskić, here you go, and applause. Prepare your questions for later, please.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for the introduction and the invitation. Thank you for special thanks to the organizers for organizing such a great event. And thank you all joining us here, not only virtually like we did it in the last year, but of course, thanks to everybody also online watching this conference. We had some great speakers, and I hope you will enjoy also my topic. I wanted to talk today with you regarding sport and tourism. I will focus mainly on the advantages of sport destinations. But for the beginning, maybe just short introduction about sport tourism. So on one hand, we have passive or active participation at a sporting event, like some examples, national, international events, football match, Rijeka against Manchester United, for example, Olympic Games, international training camps. I will talk a lot about this. And at this point, you have athletes coming to participate, or you have fans, regular people coming to see this match, camps, event. So this is one part of the sport tourism. The second, primarily active recreational participation in sport. Mr. Mladen talked about this in the morning a lot. If you remember, in Crikvenica here, he focused on forest. So if you want to maybe go to a destination to have sport activities like cycling, swimming, gym, different options, then you choose the location primarily where you can do sport. Today, I will talk a little bit more on the first part. So just a short introduction. Who are we? We are a sport agency specialized in sport tourism. We are organizing a lot of training camps for clubs, national teams. We are organizing different events also for clubs and national teams, but also for companies. And we are quite much present also in Croatia. I will talk later with some figures. Very dynamic young team, and we are very passionate about sport. We are working in sport, but we are also in love with sport. So I want to talk a little about the advantages, like I said at the beginning. And first, I want to focus on hotels, advantages for the hotels. Sport teams, sport events normally generate higher ADR. ADR means average daily rate. The second point, higher RevPAR. This is revenue per available room. So how much revenue do you create per available room you have in the property? This can be calculated by day, week, month, year, of course. and it is one of the most important indicators how sales is doing in a certain property. Longer LOS, so length of stay. Normally, if you can imagine, I don't know, big event, international event, European Championship, it can last for 20, 30 days, 45 days. Imagine training camp when, I don't know, Rijeka goes to have a training camp, or even better, bringing again Manchester United to Kvarner region to prepare before the season. They won't come for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. They will come from 10 to, we have also teams coming for 40 days. It depends from which market are they coming and for which event they are preparing. All of these segments, higher ADR, RevPAR, LOS, generate higher total revenue. Velimir also talked a little bit about this. I would like maybe just to mention also benefits of food and beverage service in comparison to others. So if you have you attending or Congress guests attending an event, most of the time you are on a tight schedule. You are coming to a conference, maybe 1 day earlier, you want to leave as soon as possible because of your schedule, you are occupied. If you're coming somewhere for corporative reasons, you come to have 10 meetings in 2 days and you need to go back to the office to do the different things. In these cases, especially corporative guests, they usually take bed and breakfast because they are out of the hotel when they come to the destination. Leisure guests, when you are traveling to your holidays, most likely everybody takes half boards. Now we have some full boards also. But when we are looking at sport teams, we are talking about not only full boards, we are talking about 5 to 6 meals per day. And these are not normal meals. They are specially prepared from the doctors from the clubs. So this also normally means higher rates, better revenue for the hotels. Flexibility to external factors, connection to airports, very good introduction from Velimir before. So maybe just one comparison again to the Congress segment. So if you have great organizers like we have this conference and they are deciding to organize an international conference and want to bring the participations from all over the Europe, maybe all over the world. One of the main topics is always location, flight options, location of the airports and things like this, because normally we don't have so good development in charter flights for this area, which needs to change in the future for sure. But then if you have bad connections, bad location of the airports, it's hard to organize an international congress. If you look at the sport and sport team and events, if the location of the match is, I don't know, in Kirk, maybe built football field in Kirk, and you don't have a close airport or good connection, even if you don't take charter flight, the team needs to come because they need to perform. You have an event, I don't know, individual event, judo event. If they do not come to participate on, I don't know, 70 to 80% of the events yearly, they don't get the points to go to the national teams. So it's they can come 3 days earlier if needed, 1 week if needed, just to have this match that they can perform. I will talk a little about the example about disadvantages in the hotel on the Austria Trend Hotel located in Ljubljana, part of Verkehrsbüro Group, the oldest Austrian tourist company. At that point, 2013, it had more than 30 hotels in different countries. So this is an international chain. And I used to work there from 2013 until 2020. It was a typical hotel chain, typical hotel with mainly MICE and leisure segment with 46% occupancy in 2013. and unfortunately with a negative net income. So I put a picture inside, the same old thinking, the same old results. Why? Because at the end of the 2013, the Austrian owners came to us and they told us, if you don't change the result drastically, we will sell this property, of course, like majority of the owners would do. And then for a greater business success, have smart business thinking. It's easy to read these things, but at that point we were thinking, okay, it's a city hotel, we have 10 or 15 the same hotels in the city, what can we do? And we decided, I came from a tourist resort from Slovenia, which also mainly did sport events, Kranjska Gora, maybe you know it from the ski jumping and World Ski Cups, yearly events, big events. And we decided to transform a business hotel into a sport hotel. One of the first steps was that we transformed that 1,200 square meter casino into a sports center. Now, if you see the picture on the presentation, the left and the right picture is the same area. Maybe you can see from the ceiling, but the casino was in fact already abandoned in 2009. So this area was closed, and we decided to invest and to make the most modern sports center at that time in Slovenia with the state-of-the-art equipment. We had a sport clinic, we outsourced it, had a sport clinic inside for sport measurements. We had every year Goran Dragic there before the season in the NBA to come to prepare. We even put inside, because of the large room we had, 30-meter tartan athletic tracks for the sprints, school of running, which is very important for the sport athletes to have the conditions that they can prepare. And imagine this was in the hotel. Normally you have, when I was talking to some of the players from the NBA, like Goran is, they have these capacities in the sport halls, and we did it in the hotel. Of course, we needed to change also the rooms. So from normal hotel rooms where we had beds 200 centimeters to 90, we increased it to 120 to 220 centimeters length. Now imagine Toni Kukoc, Shaquille O'Neal, Radoslav Nesterovic, NBA champions, all with 210, 215, when they come to the hotel and finally get the normal treatment so they can rest before the match, after the training, and things like this. And our mindset was already like, if we can do it for top level athletes, we know that it's going to work also for corporate guests, leisure guests, for everyone. We even put some massage tables for the treatment inside the rooms. So we all changed our mindset for 100%. Food and beverage services, gaining experience for our kitchen team in regards to the food needs for the athletes. So you can have a top-class hotel cuisine with great dishes, food styling, really good, but this does not mean that it's going to work also for the teams. The teams, they normally come together, they want to eat in 15 minutes and go. And when you get, I don't know, a football team of 40, 50, we had Turkish national team with 95 people inside. When you get first player, second player, they will go, they will put rice, pasta, other things. And when you come to the fifth player, normally the buffet will be already emptied. And then it's always the most important thing, the refill. And we've had the challenges with the hotels regarding this, to explain to them. Everybody says to you, yeah, we're going to do it, don't worry, we are professionals, our main chef is a master chef. Yeah, but the logistics for sport teams is different. So we needed to change this. At the end, we transformed an abandoned meeting hall to a unique sports pub called Winners Lounge. We even put some sport name of the products, Champions Lounge, Olympic Plate. So we had a product written all over it, sport, sport, sport. And we managed to get all the federations, the Olympic Committee, to transform their guests to this property. Because I'm running late, I will maybe be okay, these were the results then in choice in 2013 and results in 2019. You can see 75% better occupancy, RevPAR, I talked about this at the beginning, 55% increase, total revenue 60%, net income, really good. But the most important thing for me and the things which I'm proud of was the increase of the workforce, which went up for 150%, and sports segment share. So yearly we did 40% on yearly turnover only on sport. Floskel, if you want better result, make better choices. Yeah, I'm the smartest one and I can lecture you now, but maybe just one comparison. In sport, it's pretty much the same like in business. If you want to be good in sport, you need to have a great team, great coach, great management, great owners, good tactics, and it's pretty much the same in business. You need to have great management, even better team, great vision, good tactic, how to perform on market, how to be different. And in both segments, you need one thing, luck. You need a lot of luck also, and we had it here. I'm going to be faster here for the destinations, advantages, marketing, tradition yearly events, structural advertising. Just imagine bringing, again, Manchester United to a training camp in Kvarner with Ronaldo. And then Kvarner decides to attract tourists from England, from UK for their holidays. If you want to invest a commercial in, I don't know, daily newspaper in the UK, you need to pay maybe 10,000, 50,000 for one page. We took advantage of this and we communicated. I don't know if we do it here. We had Cristiano Ronaldo, we had Manchester United. With the new options with Google and social media, you can attract on a different way for lower cost. And the last point here, very important, seasonal destination challenges and filling capacities in the non-period demand. The Croatian coastal region with Kvarner and all the coastal region have the same problem. In the winter season, January to March, it's a low season because there is lower demand. We at B4Sport took advantage of this and we started to organize training camps for football teams from January till March because this is the stoppage of the leagues. So they need to have the camps. Some of the results you can see here, and these are only the results in the Croatia, which we did from 2018 until 2021. And just imagine that in 2020, we worked for 2 months because of the pandemic. And this year we did 19 teams in 1 month, only in January. Imagine that you couldn't travel. We didn't have the vaccine yet. And it was quite hard to organize it. General positive effects. Children and idols, I put two Luka Modric to Luka Doncic. You know how children are with their idols. It's great if they have it from sport. Big sport events, enrollment in sport programs. For example, basketball after Eurobasket in Slovenia, which was held in 2013. In the next school year, we had 60% enrollment in basketball programs for children, which is remarkable. Health aspects, I'm not sure if you can read it here. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I read it on the internet, just joking. This is a health conference. We had great speakers. Again, I will mention Mladen. He did a great presentation. And the general effects from sport to health are quite known. For the finish, these results, which I said, and where I see the advantages of the Kvarner region are really in the camps and events for sport, also in the low season. How to work in COVID, of course, a lot of the adaptation were done. Finding solution, proactivity, direct, how we did it. We had to do, of course, a lot of COVID testings, bubble accommodations. We closed the hotels only for sport teams. Housekeeping, cleaning of the rooms, for example, we did it once per week because we wanted to minimize the connection between the guests and the staff. Exclusive floors, private restaurant, but above all, trust. We had to have trust from the clients because they were asking, what if it happens, if we get COVID? And of course, we had the logistics also for this. Some global trends for the future, I will just mention them: safety, accessibility, outdoor activities, the rise of women's sport, which is very important. If some destination wants to create some good new events, like the last subject here, if you take into consideration women's sport, there's going to be a lot of advantages. UEFA, FIBA, they are putting a lot of money into this. Conclusions, and the last thing from my side, B4Sport. Why? Mladen explained to you. Be forever, whatever suits you and wherever you feel good. And then mine set mind, be for something and never be for nothing. So try to be positive. Like this conference is a lot of positive thinking here. At the end, be for something you really feel. Thank you for your attention. I will be happy to share some experience with you after the conference at the bar. Let's have a drink or two. I wish everybody a pleasant stay and enjoy the conference until the end. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Emir. We'll definitely have some questions for you as well. We have one more speaker. So Mr. Vladimir Miholjević, founder of CRO Race, please join me on the stage. And applause.
Thank you for the presence. Thank you for invitation, and big compliments to organizers of this event. Actually, what to say, I feel that I will repeat most of that what my previous speakers already said, what actually is maybe boring, but also a good idea because we are all on the same page. So we just need to define next steps and make this destination and all other destinations orientated to the sports tourism and the health tourism great and well known in the world. No? So that will be the topic of my presentation: why professional cycling teams, training camps, and synergy with destination. We are speaking about top athletes, top team, very complex organization. And first, one boring presentation of myself. I will not reading all what I'm doing on what I did in the life, but after it, if you are going back, giving the references for everything, what I would say so I was professional cyclist from 97 to 2013, in 2 periods national coach. In this moment, I am performance manager or technical director of the World Tour cycling team, Bahrain Victorious. To give you a picture what we achieved, we won Tour de France this year as a team. We won Vuelta a España as a team. We won 2 stages on Giro d'Italia and 2nd place in GC. We won 3 stages on Tour de France, and we won one of the biggest and hardest races in the world. And this year, with epic conditions, you will see some coverage with photos. It's Paris-Roubaix with rain after 20 editions, after 20 years. At the same time, I am the race organizer. Why am I the race organizer? Because I'm out of comfortable zone. No? And a race organizer in Croatia, national tour, so CRO Race. It's really the biggest event that we are doing as a company, Top Sport Events from 2015. We started the preparation in 2013 and 6 editions behind us. And we are growing. I'm staying on that topic because we are covering with live TV coverage, 12 hours, 6 days, 130 countries, 190 countries with different contents, highlights, and new formats. Then not only professional sport events is in our portfolio, but we are organizing Istria 300, more than 1,400 paid quotizations and 800 people in the first edition, what actually is great achievement. Unfortunately, at that event, we also used health service provider because of the accident. Training camp organizer, it is only continuation of Emir's lecturing. Yes, I did for Tinkoff Saxo. It was 2015, best team in the world, Bahrain Merida, Bahrain McLaren, Bahrain Victorious, different locations, Poreč, Opatija, Rovinj, Hvar, Valencia, Calpe, Altea, Tenerife, Livigno, and few times same locations. And then Israel Startup Nation, Poreč 2019. As a company, we are working also on developing development integration of the bike products in the destination. Why the bike product? Emir maybe knows cycling and cycle tourism is the biggest and most profitable branch of the selective tourism for the destination itself. No? So this, okay. Pro cycling team specifics. We have 28 riders in our roster, 16 different nations. We have 68 staff in the background that's supporting riders, and in total we are around 35 different nations in one collective. Yes. Regarding logistics, we have 15 cars, 5 vans, 2 trucks, 1 kitchen truck, 2 buses, and 1 service course in Ljubljana, 35 nation service course in Ljubljana, all that logistic, and we have 230 days of racing per year. So we are doing double program. Specific thing, people are not obliged to live in the same country, same place. They are not training on the one place. What that means? So on some period of the year, we need to put these teams together, this team together, to control them, observe them, make direct personal contact, and help them to be better. We are merging inside the team. We are merging different expertise. So we have coaching, we have medical group, we have physio group, we have nutrition group, we have logistic office, marketing, communication, and tacticians, sport directors. So 8 different groups merge in 11 different projects through the season, 235 days of racing. At the end, not the end, but most important, really, health of the people is basis for success. If people are sick, if athletes are sick, injured or something, they're not performing, they're not delivering result. We are not justifying money invested in our team. Budget of this team to 22 million euro. No? So to assure that our athletes and our staff have the best possible medical care, 365 days per year, 5 doctors, 4 physios, 10 masseurs, 3 nutritionists, 2 chefs, 1 kitchen truck driver. He's also a chef assistant. And 2 ethos that are really leading our team forward. Now, this is riders first, so athletes first. Whatever we are doing, whatever we are speaking about, we are thinking first about athletes, what to do to make them perform better. And performance first. Whatever we are doing, logistic, with everything, it's not first criterion, cheaper flights or shortest way to destination. It's always if this is positive effect on the final performance of the riders. To put this team together, we are bringing teams few times, actually 120 days per year on the training camps. But in 2 occasions, we are doing 2 occasions, 14 days in December and 14 days in January, full team on 1 location. This is part of logistics. Some logistics are missing, and this is photo from in front of hotel in Altea. That this near Valencia, near Alicante. This year we will use this hotel for the 3rd time. No? You saw before that I did this on Hvar, I did it in Poreč, I did it in Rovinj with the team, but at the end we moved there. Why? Because what are criteria for organization of the training camp? First, safety. When we are speaking about safety, is general culture. What means general culture? In some locations, when people see you on the bike, on the road, and if you are in the group, they are not happy. there is one funny video from Dalmatia. No? Let's say understanding cycling, understanding outdoor activities is not developed everywhere equally. No? So other thing is this traffic culture. You don't want to be thrown by the car out of the road. What's happening in some destinations? We did huge step forward, organizing different events. We make people, our citizens, they make to understand what positive effect professional cycling and recreational cycling have for destination. Second thing, second criteria is terrain configuration. It's normal. Length of the climbs, difference of the climbs, if they are steep or they are not steep, they are less steep, and the flat section. What makes me angry, lots of these criteria we have on Kvarner, in Istria, in Dalmatia. Do we use it? No, not exactly. Why we do not using? Maybe from different slides we will understand. Climatic conditions, second criteria. Third criteria, average temperature and rainy days. Rijeka, okay, if you know the area, you can save yourself because you are watching where the lights is coming out. You're going towards Saint, Crikvenica, or toward Pula. Infrastructure, very important. Hotels, facilities, education of the people in the hotel itself, this is important. Management of the product. This means that when you are coming as an athlete and you are leading probably a tourist agency that are organizing training camp, you're leading the whole group. But sometimes we as a team, we are coming with 95 people in the hotel and we are doing around 1,100 overnights per training camp. So in December and in January, in 2 months. In totally, our team is doing during the year around 6,000 to 7,000 overnights in the different hotels. You want to find the people in the hotel that understand needs of the team and needs of the athlete. Sometimes we are finding that, sometimes we are fighting with them. But at the end, we have people in the background that cleaning the road for the athletes at the end. Roads and choice quality, okay, road and choice quality in Croatia are good, hotels are good, climatic conditions are good, safety and general culture is good, but we don't have training camps in Croatia. Question why? Possible marketing and partnerships with destination, this is also one of the criteria. If you could arrange some exchange visibility value for the price of the training camp, it's always one of the important criteria, but in order is on the 5th place. Logistic challenges, not requirements. It's, as my 2 previous speakers said, it is very important to develop destination and to develop some products, specific products in destination. And then we are coming on other services in destination. Specific medical services availability, mostly we are speaking, when we are speaking about top teams, it's related on accident, eventual accident. You want to be safe, you want to put your athlete or staff member in the good hands. And in Croatia, we are quite good. In this moment, lab availability, because of the COVID and blood exams, it's very, very, very required by the teams. Then we have specific physiotherapy, PRP treatments. I don't know if last hour already have PRP. You have? Okay, I didn't have doubts, but good to check. And extra good osteotherapist. This is the part what is you can learn. You can't learn this only in the school. This is the talented guys or women that you are looking, and they really treat your body with special talent and special attention. So you are ready. Athletes are ready to move for 200 kilometers from one treatment of 20 minutes. Cardiologists, it's always required because athletes are under the big effort, and sometimes we have some problem, and it's good to this problem that they are detected and treated on time. Then to come on the training camp, I'm going fast because we are late, and I wanted that your attention flew away. it will be good to have commercial package. No, the agency have it. No, agency before, as we said, so before they have commercial packages, training camp packages for the teams in some sports. Cycling is quite specific, and good and complex commercial package is a picture, but really picture of the destination. Why? Speaks about destination, because it's showing synergy between all the stakeholders, shareholders, however you want to call partners. It's not only hotel company, it's hotel company, destination management, medical service provider. Sometimes we have all these super good and in the same destination, but they don't collaborate, they don't communicate, and then it's impossible to create the package itself. Only coordination and understanding the needs of the top teams and top athletes could create the package. Before, somebody of you said, who need to be engine of that process? Usually are crazy people as us, no? But then what is happening? Sometimes we are pushing too much, we are pushing too hard, and destination hold back a bit, no? More complete package is more trust client gets in the destination, and easier to decide to come and to spend the money to pay the services in the destination itself. Complete package, what's required? No, it's required synergy between medical institution, health, medical service provider, destination management, hotel company. Somebody need to put all this together, no? And then different experts from the different areas. We could not expect that I know something about culture, directing theater, no? But I can do very well with cycling. No? Emir could do very well with handball. No? Goran Šprem, your contender, could do very well with handball, with judo. And we need to create this synergy with private sector to help to develop destination. I will go on. I get nervous when you stand up. No? Okay. Okay, I understood. Cycling training camp and the medical. So I will give you hints. No? December is the period where cycling teams, all cycling teams or athletes need the medical service, because it's needed for the medical checks that will allow you to obtain your racing license. Just photo. Peter Sagan 2015 in Thalassterapia. No? Peter Sagan was one of the best cyclists in the world, 3-time world champion. That was the 2 months after he won the first world championship title. 2 of our riders on the ground, both of them more than €1 million per year. Giro d'Italia on the right side, 5 ribs and the collarbone. Tour de France, Jack Haig, collarbone explosion. Both of them, Jack Haig, after 7 weeks, started Vuelta a España and obtained 3rd place on the general classification. Why? Because we as a team provide him the best possible medical service, operation in 2 days, osteotransplantation, and guy was crazy enough and ready to race. So December is a period when we really looking destination where we can have all services on the one place and using the medical provider very intensively. Rehabilitation after injuries for top teams, we like to keep under our hands or engaging the external experts that are our constant partners in the process of healing our riders. A lot of individual athletes from the individual sports, Vlastanos, skiing, light athletic, are looking for the destination that have this everything on one place. And in Crikvenica is quite well known about Terme Selce, thalassoterapia also. I'm going. And at the end, yes, synergy, collaboration, communication, exchanging experience, and putting things together will be guaranteed to obtain results. This is one example where we had this synergy. You know, this is 2015. Maybe, okay, you need to have some knowledge about cycling, but it's doesn't mean that it's general culture. But this think of Saxo team, Alberto Contador, 5 Grand Tour winners, so Giro d'Italia, Vuelta, and Tour de France. Peter Sagan on the medical checks, December medical checks in thalassoterapia in Opatia. And here, crazy people that we put together this project. No? So Fernando Kirigin, now mayor of Opatia, Irena Peršić-Živadinov, director of Quarner Tourist Board, Vedran Buršić, chief of the internal medicine department in thalassoterapia, and Viktor Peršić, Dr. Viktor Peršić, director of the thalassoterapia. This is what we need to do, that product will be on the place and on the market. And one conclusion, no? Winning the bike races, but not only bike races, all sports competition giving you an amazing feeling. You cannot change this feeling maybe when your kids are born. Having possibility to be part of winning in any role, it's a privilege, no? Because of that, we are doing all this sacrification and we are looking forward. We have vision, we are taking leadership, we are taking risk, and we are pushing ourselves and our colleagues forward. But at the end, only healthy athletes could win. So this is our job all together. We can make athletes heal in Croatia, in Kvarner, or any other destination. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Miholjević. You can sit down here for the question. I'm inviting Jan, Velimir, and Emir to join us also here. So yes, any spot. Yes, just okay. Before we continue with Q&A, we'll just have a little bit announcement. So tonight at 8 a.m. We'll have a networking party here. So just so everybody knows, don't leave. So hang out with us, network and whatnot. Okay, so let's start with the questions. I would like anybody but Paul. For starters, I'll have you later. Anybody or Paul is a student, so you know. Okay, then Paul. Can we give a little applause for Paul for being persistent?
I'll be much shorter this time. My question is for Velimir. First of all, congratulations on ETF. In the 1980s, we had year-round tourism. We had winter tourism in Croatia. We had flights coming in December. We had American tourists coming for up to 6 weeks in the winter. They came for the nature, for the art, for the food, for the culture. Presumably, we've still got that winter offer, and presumably airlines would still be interested in flying around the year to Croatia. Why do we not have winter tourism with airlines coming in like we used to? Could we have it? Do we have an offer? And what's missing to make that actually happen?
I think the missing thing is the whole cycle that I have shown. Yeah, because you have to have everybody involved, and you have to sell the winter story. And basically, it's about the volume, and it's about the spinning the wheel. You know. No regular airline will put the line in January or even December or even November, February, from Kirk to, I don't know, Stockholm, Berlin, etc. Yeah, because you don't have the volume. Someone has to sell those tickets and those packages. It's not about the tickets; it's about the packages to the people. So it's about the sales, and the whole point of my presentation was actually that you need to coordinate and you need to sell the destination during the winter. And that can be done. But it requires investment in marketing, investment in sales.
Yeah, and that's great.
Short, Paul.
Very short, yeah. With ETF, for example, could we do like a trial run with, say, somewhere in Scandinavia and split to do just a few flights to get people together and just to see if it works, or that's not worth it?
It's very easy to agree on a pilot project. You know, let's say we find someone in Stockholm or wherever, and we say, let's try 3 Saturdays during the summer. Let's try to bring 500 people. Okay, during the whole winter, and then you find a partner to sell this. They sell it. We bring 500 people from Stockholm in winter 1 year, and then next year, as we did have a successful pilot. Next year we triple it. 2 years from then, we make it times 10. This is how it grows. It starts with a pilot.
But sorry, Paul, where you will bring those people? What you will propose them to do during the winter here?
That's what you guys should say.
Yeah,
and you were talking about the whole panel was about opportunities. So
No, but I am interested in that, no, because if you want to bring people, you need to offer them something. So you are living for some period of time in Croatia. So what you will present them as a motive to come? No?
Well, I think as Velimir said,
last
30 seconds.
Yeah, it's a question of us coming together, but I think we can agree we have the offer. We need to get organized, but I'm talking about split in the winter. So many people would come if they could get there. It's not that difficult to open certain restaurants, to have certain events going on, to start, wine tours and the gastro stuff. That can happen 12 months a year if we get organized.
But you already used, it's not so difficult, no?
It's not difficult. They just
Yeah,
need.
but why you don't open some restaurant to try?
I'm gonna bring winter tourism to Split instead.
Yeah, maybe you can also add digital nomads. Maybe that's also.
Well, I mean, yeah. At the end, it comes down to wanting to make strong efforts to create year-round sustainable tourism. I mean, for me, it's just very weird, the whole concept of actually running a business 5 months a year, and then what? The other 7 months, you're pretty much not running anything. I understand that it works mostly right now in this country. And I think, and I really hope that, that this whole digital nomad movement that can attract thousands of people to Croatia, that this can help contribute to that sustainable tourism. I mean, if you look at islands like Bali, with a similar population like Croatia, 4 million people, they pretty much have year-round 50,000 digital nomads in the country. And if you look at what they would be spending here in Croatia, and then I use an estimate of, for example, 10,000 kuna a month per digital nomad, and I have actually data that confirms that this is a pretty good, accurate prediction when speaking with digital nomads. And if we can host 50,000 digital nomads that spend each of them 10,000 kuna a month, we're talking about 500 million kuna of new cash injection into the Croatian economy. Well, I think that we can find enough service providers and providers of products that would be willing to work 12 months a year in order to accommodate those 50,000 people. And I think that we will get there. I mean, we are already having thousands upon thousands.
That's great. I will just summarize what you guys talked about. So what I heard, so being different, having a story, building a trust, and that we need leaders. So I think this panel was very, very informative for me. So very good. So we have everything. So how to find those leaders who will lead us there. So not just to be opportunities, but to show the results like Emir showed the results on this hotel.
But this is also difference in mentality in different regions, no? Because we cannot speak that in Istria, Kvarner, or Split, things are the same. No, I love to go in Primošten. I had also house there, but during the summer you have 6 top restaurants inside these walls. No? During the winter you don't have even pizzeria open. No? And how you will change the mentality? You lived on the Hvar, no? We met also there. How? Okay.
That's not mine. I have. This one's mine. This one's mine. Just okay. But this is a part of experience, so don't. We probably.
He wants us to go to lunch.
Yeah. No. This is for a lunch break. But before that, I hope we're gonna close this. So, just a quick question for Emir. So, what are the peaks? Can you listen? Can you hear? Or will Thank you. This is for me. This is because I'm late now. So, what are the peaks in sports tourism? So, what are the seasonalities? Yeah,
It's
also for digital nomads, also for races. So this is important. Please, children, please.
This is the best thing because sport is running all year round, and I just wanted to point out the possibilities in the low season demand. What we are talking now for the Croatia. So we started with in 2016 with 4 or 5 teams to come to 75 teams. January to March in Croatia. We are doing the same things all over the year. So sport is a niche which needs to be considered all year round. But again, it's easy to talk about it. You need to have a lot of support from the destinations. The sport teams do not need even 2 restaurants are okay. But you have to have great infrastructure. You have to have great training pitches. You have to have great, if we're talking about teams, not individual sport, you have to have large teams on the same area because of the friendly matches. You need to have a lot of organization, but it can be done. Just one thing in Slovenia, I was attending a panel last month. They're considering they were talking about creating a tool which will combine sport federations with some government and some companies, leaders, to have some tool which will be able to generate some revenue and to make some new sport events in the country. So everybody has the same challenges, similar challenges, but I think Croatia, what we are doing here is a great spot we can only improve, and I think we can do on other destinations in Croatia also.
What about cycling and digital nomad, then cycling, and then we'll do a wrap up at the end.
Will do.
You may first, yeah. Go ahead.
You are from
guys.
No?
Jan first.
Well, actually, I just wanted to make a comment actually already in the previous panel discussion, but there was not enough time anymore. What I think that we in Croatia simply lack in general, pretty much across all industries, is that we are not able to sell and to do marketing. I mean, if you, and we as a country, we don't know what we stand for. I mean, if you think of Italy, we think about great design. If you think of Germany, you think about great quality products. If you think of the US, you think about real products and services that solve problems, and they're being marketed and targeted correctly. And here in Croatia, I mean, we make the best wine ever. And we have countries like Sweden exporting more wine than Croatia. I mean, I didn't even know that Sweden was producing wine, but somehow they export more of it than Croatia. So whatever we plan to do, attract cycling teams, medical tourism, just for dentistry from Italy, whatever we want to do, digital nomads, what it at the end comes down to is that we need to do better sales and marketing. We should be less humble. We should be more proud of what we offer. And we should create content marketing around that and go out with that information. Because otherwise we can have the best wines, but nobody will be drinking it and buying it.
Great comment.
Okay, if I can, as I'm Croatian, and I agree with you in most of the things, but problem is that if you Italy, food, design, culture, history, in Croatia, we have difficulties to define our qualities, or we are living with our qualities and we don't understand that these qualities are something extra.
Yes.
And we are not transforming in the product. Okay, this is the first problem. And then if you don't transform the product, you don't have anything to sell and to do marketing. No?
Yeah, and then we lack economy of scale.
And then it's problem, the other problem. When private investor comes and wanted to offer something to the public sector, in Croatia, you never, it's not allowed to put in the budget you're earning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you need to hide somewhere in some expenses now, because if you say, okay, earn of the office is this, expenses for the, no, this you need to be your investment. No? This is the problem. We have huge problem in our mentality to define the product and to sell it and not to be shamed that we earn the money, no? That we are working for that.
But I think that, correct me if I'm wrong, but like probably 80–90% of people that are here today are all from the private sector. So, I mean, of course, there's also people here from the public sector representatives. But I think that, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, it's about what we want for ourselves and for the next generation. If we as entrepreneurs want to have a better future, then we as entrepreneurs need to do better today. And I mean, I'm not gonna wait and hope that the government is gonna help in any kind of way or support it. I'm very grateful that the government saw the opportunity of digital nomads and that they were willing and able to change the law within record time. I mean, we did it in 6 months altogether. But at the end, it's about our own initiatives and us creating those packages, doing the marketing and the sales right. And you know what it is? Sales and marketing always comes first. I mean, you cannot say that, you know what, we will invest in sales and marketing once we have revenue. It doesn't work like that. You first have to invest in sales and marketing, and then you can get your revenue.
Thank you very much. And short, please, how do you see Croatia in 2030? Velimir, and then short comment from Vlasta, and then we wrap it up and you go to lunch. Okay, everybody nod your head. Yes. Okay, yeah, great, thank you. Please.
Well, actually,
because you were talking about the future and I want you to predict it.
I'm very optimistic because I think there are several lines that will intersect. One of them is the fact that we think that Croatia was known before. I really don't believe that. Central Europe knew us. After the EU accession and in the last several years, Croatia is slowly beginning to build its name, its brand worldwide. And given the position in the heart of Europe, I mean, Kvarner is in the heart of Europe, I think it will play out. And the relying on our own, not waiting for the government to do something, but relying on our own and understanding that we have to solve the chicken and the egg problem by ourselves. Finding crazy leaders that Miholjević was talking about among ourselves who will do the job. That's the whole point. Not waiting for Plenković or Hrvatska turistička zajednica to solve it for us. They will do it for us when we present the idea and the energy to realize that.
That's great. We'll end with this. And one more short comment, Vlasta, short, thank you.
Very short. Top sport camp is my life. Last decade, and I know Vladimir and Velimir so long. We must put all subjects together and we must make as a destination one conclusion that we must work 365 days per year, 24 hours, because top athletes, they need us 24 hours. This is top work. This is tough work, but success is guaranteed. And if we are clear, we need support of local government and support or Ministry of Government, that we cannot close our hotels for 6 months. No more. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So great message from this panel, but unfortunately we run out of time. So big thanks to our speakers for joining us. Please, a big applause. And on behalf of the organizers, the Crikvenica Tourism Board, Partner Health Clusters, and co-organizers Thalasotherapy Crikvenica and Poliklinika Terme Selce, thank you for participating in the first day of the conference.